All right, we are live.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Today is Thursday, November 20th, 2025, and I'll call this meeting into order of the College Student Senate General Assembly at 4:35. Thank you. And at this time, I would like to say welcome to our General Assembly meeting of the Madison College Student Senate.
Can we pause quick? John, just so you know, you're sharing your whole screen with us.
Go ahead, can you remove him? Remove him?
I'm gonna try.
Okay.
All
Like
right,
I said, thank you. And at this time, I would like to say welcome.
My bad.
you're good.
Please, of the Madison College Student Senate. This is a public meeting and will be recorded for transparency and direct conversations. We're going to cover a few basic items before beginning. If you lose connection at any point during the meeting, you can reconnect by clicking the link or calling the number in your original email. To the senators and other members online, please activate your video and keep it on for the duration of the meeting. If it is possible, use the raise hand feature when you'd like to be recognized to speak, ask questions, or request a roll call vote as chair. As to call on committee members, the order in which hands are raised, lower your hands if you have the cue. And at this time, could I please get a roll call?
Sure can. Do I have President Jose Villarreal?
I am here and present.
Thank you. Vice President Administration Finance, Quinn Matson, I am present. Vice President Legislative Affairs, Ash Rogers. Present. Thank you. Vice President Team Development, Corey Sertzel. Thank you. Vice President Public Relations, Ari Nichols.
Present.
Thank you. And Advisor Cole Caliocrado.
Present.
Moving to our general senators, do I have Senator Sanjay Jagadish? Here. Thank you. Do I have Senator Annette Crowder?
Present.
Thank you, Annette. Do I have Senator Ashley Larson?
Excused.
Excused, thank you. Do I have Senator Donovan Juarez?
I am present.
Heard, thank you. Do I have Senator Abry Holte?
Present.
Thanks. Do I have Senator Ida Wilmo?
Present.
Heard. Do I have Senator Sierra Brunner?
Absent.
Noted. Moving on to our regional and metro campuses. Do I have Portage Senator John McCray?
Present.
Heard. Do I have Reedsburg Senator Furkan Sindar?
Present.
Thank you. And Goodman South Senator Bethany Bauer?
Excused.
Noted. And we have met quorum.
All right, let's leave the quorum. We'll now move to approving the minutes from last week's meeting. Last week's meeting was a normal meeting. We had quite a bit going on. We had vice president elections for the public BPA, BPLA. We had an open general senator position election process. And then public speaking. Do we have any public speakers?
No.
No public speaking. And we tabled some motions that were made. We had a team building activity. And we had reports from standing committees and select committees. So with that being heard, with the minutes being read out, I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes. Motion made by Senator Jagadish, seconded by Vice President Corey Sertzel. I will now open it up for discussion, in person or online. Hearing none, seeing none, we would take a vote in unanimous consent. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Motion is passed. The minutes were passed. Now we will move to approving the agenda.
Sorry.
Now, the agenda today is going to be a pretty straightforward. We have a guest speaker. Thad is going to be our guest speaker here. And we will have a little bit of approvals of reading, public comments, team development activity was tabled, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
Then we have reports from officers, advisors, standing committees. And we have reports from the metro campuses, reports from college assembly and shared governance. We have unfinished business and we have new business. And we have our announcement. With the agenda being read out, I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda. Motion made by Vice President Ari Nichols, seconded by Vice President Ash Rogers. Open it up for discussion, in person or online. Hear none, see none. I'll take a vote, unanimous consent. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It has been passed, and we will get right into it. So we have a public comment from Dr. Beth Giles, and Madison College Provost. So you have the floor for the next 30 minutes.
Thank you. Hello, Student Senate friends. 3/4 of the way through the semester. Congratulations, right? You made it this far. It's always fun to come here, and I always come here, not necessarily casually, but without a big presentation, because I want to hear questions and thoughts from you all. So in case you wonder what life is like as a provost, which is really the vice president of academic affairs for the college, so anything that has to do with academic programming comes through me. This is my 8th meeting of the day. So that's how it goes. Sometimes you are just in back-to-back meetings. So I've eaten an apple, gone to the bathroom once. Like this is, people think that the higher up you get, the more glamorous it gets as a leader, and that is not really the case some days. So why are things so busy, right? You may know that enrollment is up, which is wonderful. You also know that we have a new president, also wonderful. And we're really working on an agenda to help students get what they need to complete whatever credential they have in mind. A technical diploma, an associate's degree, a certificate. And what that takes is making sure that you have the classes available to be able to do that completion. So right now we're busy watching enrollment for spring, right? Microbiology filled today. Organismal biology filled today, and college chemistry 2 filled today. So we have to add those additional courses, find rooms for them to be in, find lab space for them to be in, find faculty to teach them, all those kinds of things. So this is kind of a busy time of year for me as it is for you. I began my career teaching in Milwaukee Public Schools. I was a 7th grade English teacher. I absolutely loved it, right? It was great. And that was the job. I would say that people ask who your greatest teacher is. Certainly many of you know, perhaps I went to school here and got to work with Gloria Ladson-Billings, who's amazing. But my greatest teachers are still my first students in Milwaukee, because they taught me so many lessons about myself and about how inequity is really systemically baked into our education system, that became the reason, they became the reason that inequity became the reason that I went forward and got my PhD here. And then I spent 16 years at the University of Wisconsin-Madison, always had my eye at Madison College. Took me 4 interviews before I got to be here at Madison College. And I started as the Associate Dean in the School of Arts, Humanities, and Social Sciences. I was very happy there. Did not have my sights set on being a provost anywhere, ever, at all, until I got here. And the faculty and the students and the open access mission here, when you're offered an opportunity to lead that type of strategic place, to do that type of work that helps uplift people and help them define and achieve their dreams, it was a really hard thing to say no to. So yeah, I've had 8 hours of meetings today, and I wouldn't change a thing.
Right.
Yeah, but I'm happy to answer any questions you have about Madison College, about being a provost. I see you online friends, about leadership in general. I don't know, about teaching. I'm a golfer, but I'm not very good, so you probably don't want to ask me about golf, but you know.
So if you like, we can open it up to Q&A.
I love that.
If they raise their hands, they'll be recognized, and if there's an answer you can give them. If not, you can all just follow back with them, and we can get that.
Great. I see 2 already, right away. Love it.
I saw Ari's hand.
Vice President
Yeah.
Nichols, you're recognized.
Thank you.
Hello.
So besides for all-day meetings,
Yeah.
say in a magical world, you didn't have to do meetings all day, what would your job look like? So, like, what is your daily process?
Yeah, that's a great question. Interesting fact, and something maybe you'll take with you and file away in the back of your mind for when you go on to your leadership positions. I read the mission of this college every morning. Every single morning that I sit down at my desk, I read the mission of this college. And I think we're really working at, the new president and I are working at making sure that I'm not in 8 hours of meetings a day. So I can do what I think is the answer to your question, the more strategic work of the college. For me, the academic portfolio, what we're offering and where, when, and why needs to be relevant and responsive. So I need to spend my time looking at the workforce and where it's headed, looking at our students, what they're coming in with, where they need to get to, and in what type of time frame. So there's a big workforce component to keeping our portfolio relevant and responsive. There's also a big transfer component. I was on the phone earlier this week with the interim provost at UW talking about Algebra 2 and why it transfers a certain way and advocating for greater transfer opportunities for you all. So that's another piece of the work. And then really, where are we capturing innovation, right? So is there an opportunity to build plastic-based semiconductors in the north building if we clean it up and make a clean room? I'm not really sure what that means, but I think it's something like the Oompa Loompas in Willy Wonka, right? So that would be a really STEM-focused initiative. And it's a balancing act, right? If we go that way, or there's a opportunity that a community college in New York is doing with spinning plasma, a really technical way to clean blood and reinsert it in people. It's not my field, but sounds cool. That versus the new construction and remodeling building, right? That's putting people right into the trades versus the diesel program or the printmaking program. And I shouldn't say versus, because we all have to align together, but that's one overarching strategy. So Madison College's biggest asset, I think, it's the breadth of what we do, but it's what makes this job so incredibly hard, right? Because it would be easy to be like, oh, it's all STEM and humanities transfer, ready, go. But it's not, right? It's vet assistance and vet tech. It's nursing and medical coding. And we train all the fire and law enforcement. So I think what my day would look like if I didn't have 8 meetings is really creating a strategic picture for all areas of the college, and then how do those get braided together to support one another, to create a culture here of everyone understanding who we are and what we do, and having shared respect across, so that if we built a plasma spinning unit, the people doing plasma spinning understand and respect the law enforcement candidates. The people in advanced calculus respect the people that are doing auto repair. The other thing that I like to think about is what culture we can create for Madison College graduates to come out regardless of the field, understanding their role in a collective society. Understanding that whether you're in economics or, diesel or cabinet making, what you do in your profession and how you interact with the community affects our society, affects our future, and affects our world. That you have a responsibility to care for others in whatever your chosen profession is, and understand that when you move a lever, someone else's lever moves. And people always say like, oh, a Madison College graduate, because if you go to the dentist, we probably trained them. Or if you go to the doctor, we probably trained them. Or if you're at UW, right? And they're a transfer student, it's the #1 transfer program. What I want to know is I recognize a Madison College student outside of these 180 walls because of the way they talk about humanity and the way they see people and society, the way they want to preserve advancing this world in a way that cares for each other and advances all the fields. Was that an answer? Sometimes I feel a
No,
little,
I feel like that was a perfect answer, honestly.
great.
I didn't want you to be too brief, you know, I want you to really explain it, and you did that.
Yeah, thanks.
Fair question, Vice President Arena.
Yeah, that was a good one. I look forward to that day when I don't have 8 meetings.
Now, Vice President, Corey Circle.
Yeah, I feel like mine's a little less fluffed up because I feel like I've been really connecting with WTCS
Mhm.
and in terms of like the Chapter 10 rewriting and the legislation passed.
Yeah,
Changing our declaring process to a petition or vice versa. Obviously, that's creating some barriers for our non-traditional students, like our high schoolers and our international students. So
Mhm.
I'm curious, do you have any concerns regarding our mission being stabilized by that?
Yeah.
By WTCS signing these types of legislation and just by passing this legislation, we're kind of straying away from our mission, making education less accessible to, our students.
Yeah.
I mean, we have a lot of international students,
Yeah.
we have a lot of high schooler students that are enrolled here. So
yeah.
I'm just curious, like, as a provost, looking at it
Yeah.
from the academic side.
I'm
Are you concerned?
frustrated with that one. Yes, I am frustrated. I'm thinking of word choice, right? And I don't know that it strangles, or diminishes our mission,
Right.
but I think we have to treat it as a speed bump in some of what we do. WTCS, and this is like, I love talking to y'all because I just feel like I'm in a group of future leaders. So, and I have been at the University of Wisconsin system as well as UW-Madison. Systems are hard,
Yeah.
right? And Wisconsin is a hard place to run a system. So TCS 10 has great advantages for almost every other school except us in Milwaukee, right? And so I understand why they had to do it. But it frustrates me, yes. And I actually discovered I think something that we can change today in the Human and Protective Services School that will provide a little bit of a release valve. So yeah, I'm frustrated with that one. I think WTCS passed it because they needed to for some of the other schools.
Right.
And I made that very clear to Layla Merriweather, the president, and she knows, what does she call me? An influencer. Before the first time I met her, she's like, I've heard of you. And I'm like, is that good or bad? And she's like, depends on what you're influencing. I respect her a great deal. She's a bright, bright woman. We should have her here talking with y'all. And I understand what she had to do. I don't like it. And I think that's one of the hardest places to be in. Sometimes we use a phrase where I disagree and commit.
Right.
And I'm not always good at it. I disagree and commit, and then I, blast my music in the car on the way home and get home and I'm just mad about it, right? I go for a run. That's the only reason I run, is because I just have to get it out. But I think that's a valuable lesson. So as you go in leadership, you might not be able to make the decisions that make everyone happy or serve everyone equally. And, some of you might be interested in politics. This is a major issue in politics. When you think of Governor Tony Evers having to do things that are right for this little tiny town called Butternut, Wisconsin, that I've actually been in, and Milwaukee, right? Or you think of Jill Underly, our superintendent of schools at DPI, Department of Public Instruction, having to make decisions for the Tigerton School District that's trying to hold on to being its own district while watching the funding piece, which would make more sense if they merged their district with another smaller one. And these are really complicated and complex questions. So it's my job, in face of whatever comes my way like that, to preserve our mission. And the other really interesting thing about this, and sort of trying to weave in a little leadership lesson, is you have to be willing to do the thing and then make the adjustments, right? So WTCS had to do the thing,
Right.
and they did. And they've heard from me, they've heard from Milwaukee, they've heard from other folks. They've heard from the Department of Justice, right? Because now that messed up, wow, did I ever think in my life I'd be on a call with the, fire chief? I know, right? So there were things that they didn't even know TCS 10 could cause. So now we're here and we're doing what we can, and then maybe they'll go back and make some adjustments. And I think oftentimes we're afraid to make the move because we're afraid to have to adjust. We're in a society that is pushing us toward perfection and being 100% sure before you take any step. And so as you go on as leaders, know what you know, make the moves that you think are right and going to serve a population and reach a goal, and help those, work with it, that it doesn't necessarily serve, but don't be afraid. It's not a failure to come back and say, you know what, now we need to have TCS 10.1. Now we need to have TCS 10.2. The best example of that, these things right here, right? You walk out of the store with this and someone's already improved it, right? So really think about, it's okay to go back and make an adjustment, but there's a lot of pressure, and y'all are in it. I mean, I'm in it, but I'm old. Y'all are in it, and you're growing. You're growing with this really high pressure society, and I worry about our students in that way. I worry that it's going to stifle creativity. I worry it's going to stifle risk taking. I feel like those things are becoming endangered species, right? And so I really want you to think about, yeah, they did what they had to do. Am I frustrated with it? Yeah. Am I going to preserve our mission to the best of my ability? You should be sure of that. I almost cursed. You should be sure of that. Yes, 1,000,000%. And do I think they need to revisit some of it? Sure. Have they heard that? Yes, very appropriately.
Thank you for the question, Vice President Sturtzel.
Yeah.
Now move to Vice President Quinn Matson.
Yeah, I appreciated everything you said in response to Ari's question, trying to align class programs with the needs of the workforce and the needs of the individuals and society as a whole. Can you tell us how that's looking this year, or whatever time frame is really relevant, things that I would want to tell my classmates? I don't know if that time frame is this semester or this year, or now to 2030 or what.
Yeah, that's a good question. Y'all should have this meeting at 9 a.m. Yeah, that is a really good question. So what that looks like, I think we're being, one area of responsiveness. So there's a couple subject areas, and then there's sort of larger things. So one subject area that we're looking at is the University of Wisconsin-Madison is about to open its School of Computer and Data Science. And so it would be wonderful for us to be able to get an articulation agreement there, or get more programmatic work that would feed into that transfer school. At the same time, what does that look like for workforce, right? So where are we at with IT, with AI, with data science, some of those types of, that's a subject area. I think we're looking at what can be offered at the regional campuses that makes more strategic sense, rather than an offering of classes because you had availability to teach them or something like that. What do we want those regional campus identities to be and to stand for? Do we want them to be hubs where you can get your first 30 credits there, your first 60 credits there? And then we're looking at where there are huge workforce gaps, like welding, nursing, dental, some of those types of things. And what can we do if we have significant wait lists there? Sometimes we can't. So a great example, radiography technicians. We need more. We have a big wait list. What's holding it up is not Madison College. I could hire 100 more faculty and put 100 more students in the program. The clinical requirement requires a 1-to-1 ratio. So I can't put 5 students with 1 person. It's got to be 1-to-1. And between us and Edgewood and Carroll and UW and Herzing and Waukesha, the rad tech opportunities around here, those radiography technicians are Could I just have like one semester without a student, right? Like we have saturated them so much. So, okay, what can we do instead, right? Where can we help those students who are on a wait list stay connected to Madison College? Can we build it to be an apprenticeship, right? So people don't have to choose between going to school or making money. Where can we build more apprenticeships? Where can we be more innovative? There's a wait list for nursing. Can we talk about a weekend cohort? Can we talk about an evening nursing cohort? Can we talk about where there are significant wait lists here and making classes accessible and available? So we also have a very large Tech Hub grant. I don't know if you had anyone in to talk about that big grant. It's a lot of money. Our part is 14 million. We're not the only partner. There's a lot of partners, but it's really to create more pathways into tech careers, right? And that's a really wider bucket than you would think. So everything from biomedical equipment repair to biomedical research, to environmental biomedical research, to biomedical waste management, right? To improving, maybe the problem isn't the rad techs, maybe the problem is the MRI machine, right? What if we, build something that allows us to build those faster? So then we can have more opportunities to give MRIs or CT scans. So it wasn't as crystal clear as I'd like it to be, but we're watching the workforce. We're seeing where there's high demand. CNA, welding, construction remodeling is huge right now. If you haven't been over to the new building, really get over there. I mean, honestly, do it now before it snows and it's cold out. It'll blow your mind. I was just there yesterday and they now have their 3-story building built that people can practice on indoors, right? They have a 3-story building. So there's trades, like welding and construction remodeling that have a lot of gaps that we're looking to build programming. There's professions like nursing and dental that have a lot of gaps, and we're looking to fill the workforce, education, teachers. And then we're looking at transfer programs where there's new and innovative things popping up, like UW-Whitewater, we sent an articulation agreement for the HEALS program, which is health education leadership, or healing, okay, it's a leadership, healthcare leadership, right? So not the people that are doing the tests, but the people that want to lead a healthcare facility, right? So that's a new field that we're looking at, and we've signed an articulation agreement. I mentioned UW-Madison and CompSci DataSci, looking there. And then there's some just really interesting things that pop up that we hear about, right? You may have heard about the town of Vienna and this data center that they want to put there, right? What is our role in something like that? I sit on the board of the educational arm for ProMega, and that's a huge science, experimental. We're doing a partnership with NASA, right? Is there life on other planets? Seriously, people are looking at that. And so I'm at those kinds of things, listening for opportunities always for Madison College.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Vice President Quinn Mattson. We're also going to open up the floor to anybody in person or online.
In person or online.
Vice President Rogers.
Do you have a
Hi.
question?
Yeah.
What are some of the top things that Madison College does to remove barriers for students with less resources? Is there anything you do to address things like food insecurity or other things like that where you can help students?
Yeah, I'm really proud of some of the things that we've done. So we expanded the food pantry, not just by putting more food in it, by making it more visible, right? So one of the things, and I will answer your question specifically, but one of the things that I think about in both my personal and professional life is this idea of the emotion of shame or embarrassment that comes with need. And in my former life, I taught people who were going to school to be teachers, right? And I would see them make what I call well-intentioned mistakes. So a teacher would be in front of her high school classroom and she'd say, oh, if you can't afford a graphing calculator, raise your hand and then I can give you one of the schools, right? And right away, you're asking people who can't afford something to call themselves out in front of a group of other students. And I don't know how it was for you, but middle school and high school can be some, some bullies, some unkind humans. So what I like about what we've done with the food pantry is put it in a space that students can see it. They don't have to ask about it. They don't have to, wonder where it's located. But it's also in a place where if they are feeling like they don't want a ton of people to see them going into it, it was well thought out of where it's located. Another thing that I love that we added recently is a baby closet for our student parents to go and get things like wipes and diapers and maybe baby food and formula. I haven't looked in there lately, truthfully, so I'm not sure. But we know when it's not stocked. I also think the food pantries at the regional campuses are really important. And what we've tried to do is, as a leadership team, my leadership team, as well as some of the other deans, have been really innovative of having a contest for who can donate the most food by school. Or I have a revolving order on Amazon that gets dropped at the Watertown campus, every month or every couple months. So trying to be really intentional about not waiting till it's low to put out a call, because there's a gap of time in there. And once people go to a resource that's not there, it's no longer something they can count on. And that's not where we want to be. We want to be where the food pantries, the baby closet, those things can always be counted on. We've also worked really hard with our foundation to remove some of the, I call them secondary barriers, but they're just as obvious. Transportation, right? Where can students go to get bus tickets? We provide those. To get an Uber for a day, we provide those. There are leads for help with housing. There are things, and our foundation has a new president, Brian Woodhouse. Did he come and speak? Or
He spoke to us last year.
Oh.
We're going to have him come back.
Yeah, great. He is very innovative in thinking about those things. And I think that, the foundation and what they do, student scholarships are great, but paying tuition is one part of what it costs to come to college. And it's a big price tag. I get it. So getting a scholarship is really one of the most important things, but you shouldn't have to choose between coming here and being able to eat, or getting a bus ride here and being able to provide something for a family member. So I think just a lot more intentionality about making sure the resources are things that can be relied on, make sure we're looking at other needs besides things like food and baby care. And again, making sure, I've been talking to the faculty a lot at the faculty forums that I host monthly. They always bring up how can we also be communicators of where that stuff is? They feel that there are students who are asking them for things. Feminine protection, some of the students ask their female instructors about that. Where there are things, where can faculty also deliver the messages about where things are located? And then a real emphasis on removing, any sort of shame or embarrassment in needing some of these things is really important.
Thank you very much, Dr. Benkhaus. We're now going to move to somebody that we have online. Send her in that crowd. You probably know her.
Yeah, hi, Annette. She was going to ask me about getting a lunch break for welding, because you asked me about that and I went for it. They changed it. I went for it.
Oh,
They did.
That's really awesome to hear. Thank you for mentioning
And
that.
now they're like, you gave us the time, but the lines are too long in the cafeteria. I'm like, okay, next, right? I'll work on that next.
Oh my gosh. I just wanted to mention that last week I was in Fort for personal reasons, but when I got done with the personal reasons, I stopped over at the campus and took a tour of it since my daughter lives so close to it, and I didn't even notice before. But anyways, when I was doing the tour, I noticed I talked to them about one that they don't there's not a community purchase that's made for the food pantry. And so I thought that was kind of interesting that we didn't do that. That they have a staff member that goes out and uses their credit card there to purchase food for students. And I was just thinking it would be more cost effective if it was a community purchase. And then I remember that they were on the remodel list. I thought supposed to be around this time when I was on FPIC. However, when I was talking to, I can't think of his name, I'm so sorry. It sounds like they don't have any idea when they're coming back up on the remodel list because of the, more urgent things that came up. And we talked about like some of the things that they were looking to do at the campus, and I just sounded really promising, and getting the opportunity to see all of the classrooms and what they're struggling with was, it seems like they need to be on there somewhere in the near foreseeable near future. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. I can connect with facilities and look at that. I know they are looking at building out more of the welding program there, I think. So maybe they were waiting to see that's a lot of safety precautions and protocols that have to be set. But I will follow up with facilities. I think the regionals are getting some much needed strategic attention. They're under Tina Aedo now, and Shauna Marquardt, of course, as you know, has been a great champion for the regions. So Dr. Byrne and I and the leadership team are meeting about regional strategy very regularly to make sure we're all on the same page, and they don't have to, they call the school and say, please, can you set up class, English 405, and then English says, well, maybe not, blah, blah, blah. So all that's going to go away. There's going to be this really great set of courses that the regional students can count on being offered in a very regular schedule. Almost the same thing as the food pantry. We need things that students can count on, the resources, the courses, the schedule, so that we can deliver on the promise of providing the education. So I'm glad that you stopped in there. I'm glad that you followed up with me, and I'll get you some Fort game plans. Maybe we'll be ready by the end of this semester to get all the regional game plans out. That would be great. Thank you, Annette.
Well, thank you, Dr. Beth Giles. At this point, this has reached our time for discussion.
Okay.
Thank you so much for coming in and speaking with us. And is it okay if anybody wants to reach out, they can email you for any follow-up questions?
Absolutely, please do. And if you ever want to talk to me one-on-one, my calendar is a mess, but my colleague, Michelle Brew, she handles my calendar, and she's masterful at moving things around. So I will make sure that Cole has her email as well as my email. You send me an email, I will do my best to answer it in a super timely manner. I love hearing from you. If you want to have a one-on-one meeting, we'll make it work. So, but don't lick yourself because you'll get scared.
Oh
my gosh. All right. Believe it or not, I have one more thing to do today. Gotta be downstairs at a dinner. I hope I don't fall asleep.
Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you. Thank you all for serving on Student Senate. Thank you for caring about our college and contributing in this extra way. So it's an honor to be here.
Thank you.
I love the carpet. So cool.
That's gonna be the legacy.
That's gonna be the legacy.
All right. Now we will move to our next public comments. Zainabi Ali, President of the Muslim Student Association. Virtual.
Yep, they are online.
Yeah, I said they're ready. Okay, is she ready? Hey, Ali, are you ready?
Yes, please let me know if you guys can hear me.
We can.
Yes.
Awesome. And I apologize about the noise. I'm right now at my niece's school. She had a play, so I apologize for any screaming. I'll just share my screen over here in a few seconds. Awesome. So let me introduce myself first. My name is Zainab Ali, and I am the president for Muslim Student Association. And we did a survey 2 days ago about halal food and diverse food on campus. So just to give you guys a little background, our survey was out for 2 days, and we get over 40 people responding to the survey, which is a great turnout. I did not expect that. And this survey was just about asking the students about their interest and what they needed on campus, if they were up for seeing change, and looking at just what they had ideas on as well. Some of our results here are that, let me just make this a little bit better so that I can see. All right. Some of our results were 88% of our students really found it to be extremely important to have more diverse options on campus. And most of our diners that we had reached out to, they were primarily located in the Truax cafeteria. We only had one person from Goodman South. And 65 of our students buy at least a few times a week on campus from the cafeteria, which just says how much they are already buying from our cafeteria and how much they need from, how much representation they need from the cafeteria. And one of the most important stuff here is that we asked, what would you guys love to see? We had multiple options, and number one was we would love to see more halal options over here, and more cultural food, and more vegetarian options as well. And we also had asked what matters when you're choosing a meal. Number one was affordability, and number two was taste and quality, and number three was cultural/religious needs. Let's just go here. And we also had a question about what would your request be if we had provided halal food on campus. And number one was seeing a daily item of any halal food on campus. And number two was as well as affordability and pricing. And we had also asked, what would you like to see, number one, if we had an halal food option for our cafeteria, and we had multiple options as well. If you guys would love to see the form, I also have it. Please let me know. But one of our most wanted items were chicken wrap and a gyro wrap, and any halal option is helpful as well. So just looking at this makes us know that there is a huge demand for diverse food, especially halal food in our campus, and as well as more affordable food on campus to make it easier for other students to purchase more halal food as well. And it is a short meeting, but thank you guys so much for listening. I'll open up and I am ready if you guys want to ask questions, or if you would like to see the form, I can also provide that as well.
Yeah, so at this point, we will open up to questions. We'll do Q&A. I just want to go ahead and just thank you so much for working on this and bringing these things forward and for its more collaboration. So with that being said, I have Vice President Rogers has the floor.
My first question is, who was surveyed? Were those 40 people from the tabling event today? Did you give that to MSA? What's that population? And then follow up is, can you share that data with us? Is there a way that we can get some of those results so we can review them?
Yeah, so this survey, around, I would say 23 were not from the tabling today. So we did get a lot of opportunities to share this survey today, but we did have 23, almost 30 students survey who answered this survey before the tabling event today, and mostly were from our Muslim Student Association club. I had reached out to them in an email asking if they could fill out this survey. And let me just share this over here so that I can show you. So here is a PDF version of our survey. As you can see, we had 40 responses. So I would say that we had 50% from our club, and then 50% they were just normal students who stopped by our table today.
Thank you very much, Vice President Rogers. I'd open up to any other questions, comments, in person or online. Well, I'd like to say thank you so much again, and we can give her a round of applause. If there's any time you would like to come back to Senate, please reach out to any one of us on the executive team or our advisor. We would love to get you in.
Yeah, thank you so much, guys, for making this. I really appreciate it. All of our students do as well.
We do have disclosures and recusals next. Does anybody have anything they'd like to disclose or recuse at this moment, in person or online? Seeing none, hearing none, we will now move to reports of officers, advisors, and standing committees. And I will give you my first report from Executive Council. We did not meet, although the work was not being done. We will meet tomorrow, and from that meeting, we might establish a new time period. There is not very much that we have to be ironed out besides a general election for senators, positions opening up. And with that, I'd open up for any comments or questions. Hearing none, seeing none, you can always email our teams if you do have one. We will now move to Finance Committee, Vice President Quinn Mattson.
Yeah, last week, during Finance Committee, we discussed possible revisions of the 3-year plan. Most of them were restructuring of the organizational goals, maybe like doing like tiered goals or long-term and short-term goals, or something like that. We're trying to make it, the 3-year plan goals, more achievable, basically. That was like an intention we all kind of shared, but we were talking about different ways to get there. We also discussed some like helpful direction and insight we can provide the new Senate, the 65th Senate, through like succession plans and where, if, how they fit into the 3-year plan. And that conversation is going to be continued tomorrow at 3:30. If anyone wants to hop in, that concludes my report.
Great, thank you very much. I will just add as far as comment. Last Senate, we did establish and we came out through some strategies for the 3-year plan. And we did present that beginning of our assembly here. Did anybody ever take anything from that? Or you guys scrap it and start something new? For the strategies to work towards the 3-year plan. We had those already laid out.
So we have not started with it.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure I understood what you're saying.
Yep. All right. Well, thank you very much. If anybody has any questions, comments, concerns for our Vice President? See it none, hear none. Thank you so much for your report. We will now move on to Rules and Legislative Affairs Committee, Vice President Rogers.
Thank you. We had our first meeting on Wednesday. We went over the whole food the food diversity initiative that we will be reading later today. We plan to continue meeting from 10:30 to 11:30 moving forward for our December meeting times. That'll be the 3rd and the 10th. So you can show up to either of those. We will be going over new resolutions, and we'll be talking about things we want to see in the Constitution that we can change as a committee, and we'll probably be working on that in the next semester. That concludes my report.
Thank you very much, Vice President Rogers. I will open it up for any questions or comments for our Vice President. Vice President Quinn Mattson, you recognized?
I just wanted to take a moment to note that guests can ask questions too. If you raise your hand, we can lend our voice to you, or you can join in the conversation. That's all I had.
Advisor Cole?
You have a question online from Senator Crowder?
Senator Crowder, you're recognized.
I was just wondering if the links for the other committees, other than I suppose the one that I'm on should probably list theirs too, but I was wondering if the links for the committees could be emailed out or something, so if someone is available to join, that they can.
I will work with Advisor Cole, and I guarantee you that we will get those links sent out for anybody that shows interest. Thank you, Senator Crowder. Is there any other questions, comments, or concerns? In person or online? All right, we will now move to our Team Development Committee, Vice President Corey Sertzel.
Yeah, so we discussed our upcoming initiative, trying to develop a outside activity for us to go ahead and take part of. And we've been hovering around the idea of attending Second Harvest and volunteering hours there to help package foods and prepare foods for our community, especially with the EBT cuts and the overwhelming need for support. However, for my several years of being in volunteering and such, I've never seen so many people volunteer. So we're in a bit of a pickle right now. We won't be able to volunteer until January of next year because they are completely booked up. So I think that's the same for River Food Pantry. They're pretty booked up as well. So we're running into an issue where there's an overwhelming support, overwhelming wave of support coming in, which is great to see, but we might have to rethink some options in terms of team development activity outside of Student Senate. So we'll try to think of something else, maybe campus-based, but I'm going to collaborate next week with our team development committee. And if anybody wants to hop on at any point, we meet Tuesdays from 4:30 to 5:30. So if any of you senators or officers would like to stand and, pitch ideas, you are more than welcome to. I really appreciate the company and I really appreciate your time. So that'll conclude.
I'll ask, is there any comments, questions, concerns for Vice President Corey Sertzel? In person, online, or in the audience? Okay, seeing none, hearing none, I'll just leave off with my comment. We definitely reach out to all the other food banks in the general area, and then Salvation Army, and then even the Parks and Recreational Services, and get everybody together and doing anything for the community. It's going to be a good team building activity, so we can all maybe do it after the winter break. Vice President Quinn Mattson?
Just an idea, if one of these pantries is booked up, you could call them and say, hey, do you know anywhere that's not booked up?
Yeah.
Maybe they know, they might have a network of volunteer places.
Absolutely. Vice President Rogers?
I have Sanchez in the volunteering group, and I know that they have a lot of opportunities. You might want to just reach out to the school one and see what they know about it.
I'm texting you right now.
Perfect.
All right. Thank you so much for that report, and thank you everybody for this helpful discussion. But we have to move on to our Public Relations Committee, Vice President Ari Nichols.
Yeah, so, what we've been doing a lot recently is trying to get, outreach and information done for the, food pricing, or the food accessibility census that I'm doing, because 2 grammar nerds told me to stop calling it a survey. And so we're doing that and we're pushing that out a lot. So far, we've gotten over 100 people to, fill it out for us. 44 just today and 50 on Tuesday, plus a couple online. So that's been really great. Hopefully we'll be able to take those numbers sort of back to dining services and work with them on that. I also spoke with Kim Henderson today, and while she said that she will not be able to attend a General Assembly meeting due to that not working with her times, she has to have to be home at that time and is unable to attend virtually. I will be having a meeting with her earlier in the day, getting the responses from her and then bringing those responses back to Senate. I'm also communicating with the Clarion to see if they're able to get another interview or more information from Justin and Kim, or just dining services in general, since they got that last article. And they said that they're gonna work on that because, I'm not the first person to say that. Soon here, probably December, or I guess, yeah, December or January, we're gonna start working on writing a bill for merchandising. So we have a lot of money that we have not used yet. And we think it'd be a good idea to use like 400 or 500 of that just on new stuff that we can hand out during tabling and everything, especially if we're going to be tabling a lot, which, we are. Yeah, I think that's everything. I'll have more for you during student affairs.
Vice President Rogers?
If we have questions that you might consider asking to Henderson, can we send those to you?
Yeah, yes, you guys send me whatever you want. So that's not been decided yet. Probably, I'm going to aim for December. I should be able to get her December. I sent her an email, which is what she directed me to do when I spoke to her today. And if she doesn't reply to that, or I don't get to speak to her by December, maybe I'll just show up here during winter break and knock on her door and see if she responds.
And Ari Nichols, just for the record, when was the first communication sent out to Kim Henderson?
Good question. So I talked to her today while tabling, as Cole pointed and said, there's Kim Henderson. So I ran up to her, spoke with her. That's when I learned that she would not be able to attend GA. So shortly after, I don't know the exact time, so like a bit after 3, I sent her an email saying, hey, let me know when you're available to do such. That's the first contact I've had with her. I know that there was a short email exchange had earlier in the year when we expected to get her in during GA. Now that she says she's no longer going to be able to come to GA, we have just begun communications on
I
that.
know we have to respect the type of who sent that email, who was the original communicator.
The first time around, I think it was Cole, right? You reached out to her?
I think so.
Yeah.
I know I've sent stuff, Quinn has sent stuff.
I sent the second round to you 2 weeks ago.
Weeks ago. Advisor Coleman, for the record, first requested that she would come to the Senate.
I'm gonna say anywhere from beginning of September to mid-October. I'll look at my emails here in a minute.
Thank you, Advisor Cole. Thank you, Vice President Ori Nichols. Thank you, Vice President Quinn Menson. We'll now move on to our advisors report. Advisor Cole.
Alrighty, so I'm just putting this in. This is not an official call yet, so please don't send me stuff. But we will be getting ready for the January meeting of WSG happening January 9th, 2026. It is a Friday. All-day event, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m.-ish in Wausau, Wisconsin, the Jewel of the North, as they call it. It is a 2-hour drive. We will have a rental vehicle. If you're committing, you're committing because it is a 2-hour drive, and I will tell you that it is a very cold 2-hour drive. But we'll be taking as many folks as possible. We will have a rental vehicle. We have to get a second this time around. We will do so. At this meeting, though, we are working to have our very own student senate led by a combination of folks, including VP Nichols, to speak at the meeting about the food accessibility and pricing with all other WTCS schools that are present. I'm working with Ann Ilgen, who's the resource director right now, to make sure that is on the docket, as they've shown that they will hold roundtable discussions at the meetings. We will have that be part of the roundtable discussion. I will make sure it happens. With that being said, at our next meeting, you all will get an update on what WSG has been doing. We want to get stuff going with it. Stuff just kind of happened. We all got busy. So at the next meeting, you'll hear about what the October meeting held, as well as what we discussed at the November meeting at Black Hawk Tech over in Janesville. So you'll hear about that next week to get excited for that, as well as learn what our legislative priorities are for the WTCS. I say for them because ours might be different. You just never know. In theory, yeah. The big thing I do want to talk about is that Student Senate has been offered, I'm going to be honest, an amazing opportunity, and this was mentioned in public relations last night, that we will be assisting in the hosting of the Higher Learning Commission. So that is the nationally accrediting agency that allows us to give out degrees in the spring semester. Not only will we be coordinating with them so they have as much student contact as possible, we will be the sole individual group for that. We'll also be working with them to distribute a large-scale survey to all students to gather information for them for the accreditation of Madison College. We were not included in this before, my understanding. We are now being included now, and hopefully we'll get access to that data. So Student Senate will play a significant role. I like to hold it over people's heads sometimes that we will play make or break for the accrediting of Madison College. So scary, but fun. Director of Student Life, Ellie Rome, may be coming at our last meeting of the year, December 11th. To talk with us about it. She's talking with the other folks involved in the accreditation process to see if that'd be a good time. She would only come for about 10 to 12 minutes to tell us about it, and we'd get more information come second semester, because this won't happen until at least March, if not April. With that being said, we got 2 meetings left. Please make sure you're tying up all of your stuff. You're tying up all loose ends of your work. You're showing up on stuff. You're showing up on time. And to the VPs, just as a gentle reminder that now is a good time to establish when your spring meetings will happen, so we can get those kind of coordinated now, and we can get stuff set and good to go. So come January, we're just, is everybody in the same committees, or do we need to do some moving around? That's everything I believe I have. I'll take any questions briefly if you have any.
Person or online, you the public.
Yeah, public can ask questions, I'm done. To you all attending, if you are super interested in Senate and you're just like, hey, I'm interested in this, if we do have space, you can attend with us for WSG. No issue with that. I'd be happy to sit down and talk with you more about what to expect with it, because we are just one of the operational arms of the Wisconsin Technical College system, like Beth Giles was just talking about today in terms of TCS and so on and so forth.
We're one of the bigger parts of us in Milwaukee.
We are a lobby.
All right, thank you, Advisor Cole. We will now move to reports and special and select committees. The very first one is the Student Activity Board, Vice President Quinn Matson.
Cool. Yeah. SAB has not met for 4 weeks as of tomorrow. Our next meeting will be tomorrow at 1:30 p.m. I will once again be coming straight from an exam, so that sucks. So you should all join and find out what SAB is doing. It's in this room C2455,
Be chaired by this guy.
1:30 PM. That's all. Thank you.
Did you still want to see if anyone's interested?
No, yes. Which one?
All right, thank you very much. We will now move to inclusion and belonging coordinator, Senator Bauer, who is excused. So we will now move to section E, International Students Affairs Committee, Senator Sindar.
Yep. So International Student Affairs Committee met last week with the CA. During the meeting, we discussed how to make health insurance plans that international students purchase more accessible, including how to support students in navigating and understanding their coverage. As a committee, we present the second language English user data we have collected through our ongoing research. Both our committee and CA shared our current ideas and plans for improving communication and support around health insurance information for international students. Also, our committee members, Hassan, last week did workshop under CA for diverse food in the International Students International Students Week. Our committee member, Hassan, did a workshop with the CA about diverse food. This is all the report I have right now.
I will open it up to questions and comments for Senator Sindar. I got a quick question for you, Senator Sindar. So what was the first thing that popped out of that? That came out from what you and Hassan were working on?
Right now, what we are working on. So right now, as I told, we collect the data. We research about the second language, what's international students' second language in Madison College. And we make this data and we bring this to CA. We are trying to make our insurance, international students' insurance, more accessible and understandable for them. We are working with them, and at the same time, our committee member Hassan trying to do some kind of bridge between students and the CA to little bit make diverse food seen and visible. That's why he did workshop with the CA last week in International Student Education Week. So that's the thing we are working right now. And then next Tuesday we have a meeting. Tuesday we will try to collect priorities before CA meeting.
Yeah, we're interested to see the data. Thank you, Senator Sindar. Thank you very much. We'll now move to reports from College Assembly and Shared Governance Council. And Vice President Quinn Matson, you're up to bat again for College Assembly.
Yeah, I'm happy to finally have a report for College Assembly.
Go back to Quinn, I'm going to cut you off because Cole had a report.
Okay. Yeah, good.
Yeah. So with that, we're going to go ahead and Advisor Cole has a report for us for the Textbook Affordability Committee.
No, I just want to let you know that it's been tentatively decided by the Textbook Affordability Committee that fall textbooks due date to be returned is January 5th, 2026. So for all of you that have textbooks, the due date, the last day that you can return them to not be penalized currently is January 5th. So that was, again, it's being fully approved on, but that has been what's been proposed by the textbook affordability folks. So I just want to provide you all that.
Advisor Cole, is there any new data on what happened last semester with the books? How much was lost, how much was gained, and how many was sent out to be built?
So they haven't been working on the data aspect of it. I told Holly that when we start to do that, that I'd like to have more folks present from you all just to view it. Right now, they're just trying to get my understanding is they're trying to get all the spring agreements done so that they can start getting, whether they need ordered, but also trying to work with Print Shop more to get that course packs printed out.
Is January 5th an extension of what we usually have to return textbooks?
That's a good question. I don't actually know the approximate time that you all have textbook returned, I'll be honest. But I just saw that they sent out a memo for the deans to approve and textbook affordability. Anyone on the committee was shown it. And so that's what I saw with it at this time.
Okay. Thank you.
Take the advisory call. If anybody has any questions, comments, or concerns, please email them or Teams them with regard to technical affordability. We'll be more than happy to respond to you. Now with that, we will get it right back to you, Vice President Quinn Matson.
Yeah, last week,
Just 1 second.
What's it, suspend parliamentary procedure, because you skipped over
You
reports
skipped.
from regional
You
centers.
skipped.
I did?
So,
Yeah.
so let's.
Advisory call?
Yep, so we don't have to suspend it, so what you can do is call to the order of the day, which would bring us back to what is on the, on our agenda. And then you could say that, hey, we had misstepped over this.
Okay.
So we can just operate on going back to the regional campus.
Yeah,
one.
let's go ahead and do that.
That's fine.
Apologize, folks, I don't know how that happened. We'll go quick here. I
Sorry.
want to get to the elections, but let's go to reports from branches and metro campuses. And Watertown is vacant. Senator McRae, I humbly apologize, and I will give you the floor for your report for the Portage campus.
No reason to apologize. Thank you, sir. Hello, everybody. As you heard from Beth Giles, regional is going through a few changes. A lot of things are happening. We're opening up a lot of avenues. I do apologize to all of my colleagues on Student Senate. I've been sick this week. I don't really have anything else at this time.
Does anybody have any
That
questions?
concludes my report.
Thank you, Senator McRae. Does anybody have any questions, comments, concerns for Senator McRae regarding the Portage campus, in person and or online or in the audience? Seeing none, hearing none. We will now move to Fort Atkinson, which is vacant, unless anybody has a report for Fort Atkinson. Goodman South, Senator Bauer, who is absent, unless anybody has a report for Goodman South. We will also go right back to Senator Sindar. We put you at the bottom of the list for your report for Reedsburg campus.
So after hearing the interest are some senators and our Mr. President to visit Reedsburg campus, I decided to do some kind of like collaboration and tabling event. The senators, our vice president and the president who's interested to visit Reedsburg campus, and I was sick and that's why I get a little bit break, but I'm trying to figure out the best day and for Reedsburg campus and for us, and I'm trying to organize some tabling. That's all my report.
Senator Sindar, if there's anything I can do to help you there,
Thank you.
please just reach out, whether it's just, talking to somebody that gets the tables, whether it's just, getting in the field and see who's available what day. Biggest supporter there now. And count on at least me to go to Reedsburg campus, and that'll give it an advisory call.
I just have a question online from Senator McRae.
Senator McRae, you're recognized.
Senator Sindar, it would be a good idea to reach out to Pang. In my opinion, she is very, very resourceful, and when you double up and you table with her, you get free food, you get a lot more people. She's awesome. She's really
Thank
fun
you.
to work with too. So that is my suggestion to you.
Thank you, Senator McRae. We'll now go to Vice President Rogers.
Once you do have time, can you put it in the General Assembly chat, or if you're looking for like a Google form, can you put that out so you, or Microsoft form,
Yep.
fill that out and get your time?
Thank you.
And I think that will be it. Any other questions, comments, concerns, please Teams or email Senator Sindar. I'm pretty sure he would respond to you as soon as he can. Thank you, and good to see you in good health. We will now move, if I stand correctly, to report from College Assembly.
Yeah. So last week, College Assembly discussed changes to the shared governance councils and structure generally that we want to decide upon before the next election. The meeting started with some insight from Dr. Byrne, her experience at other institutions. After a lot of discussion, there was general support in the College Assembly, not official, not voted upon, but general support to remove presidentially appointed co-chairs and prohibit cabinet members or other high-level administrative employees from taking leadership positions in shared governance councils. just to elevate other voices. VPs already have a place to like make change at the college. They don't need this one as well. But there are some concerns about keeping their expertise like as a resource. Then we also discussed adding new councils. A primary candidate is a sustainability council, which would grow out of the Green Team, which is currently a faction of FPIC. There's also talk of maybe a workplace relations council as well. All these decisions we're trying to make them before the elections. And it's like, we need the councils decided before we elect people to them. That concludes my report for College Assembly.
This is a very detailed report, especially with how much was discussed in that meeting. So thank you very much for summing it up, Vice President Quinn Matson. And I'll give it to Vice President Rogers.
Who fills those positions then? If it's not going to be, the VPs once the election?
They'll be elected by, or selected or appointed by the council itself.
And is student body, faculty?
Any of the above.
And then if I can interject here, there's going to be a also opening the idea to bring a member of the public in.
Yeah.
So that was something very big, something very new, something very exciting. So it's all in preliminary plannings right now for College Assembly, but those things are going to be ironed out and, like we said, hopefully we're ready to go before the elections. Any other questions, comments, concerns for Vice President Quinn Matson? Okay. Thank you very much. Now we can move to Academic Council, which is vacant. Facilities Planning and Investment Council, which we do have a report from Senator, our Vice President Quinn Matson.
So I joined FPIC for a tour of the Goodman South facilities yesterday. They had a business meeting as well afterwards, but at this point it was already 2 hours. It would be another 2 hours. I did not join for all 4+ hours. It was really cool though. They toured the new early child care education building, as well as the main building. The new building is a $7 million project set to be completed by Christmas. Ribbon cutting grand opening in January, I think January 15th. It's where there was previously a fire station moving across the street. It will provide childcare for ages 6 weeks through 4K, as well as drop-in care, perhaps partnering with Mount Zion Church Homework Club, which is like kind of next door around the corner. This is the first time Madison College would offer infant care. It's the only accredited infant care in the South Park Street neighborhood. They'll charge a sliding scale fee. There's already a wait list of over 90 families. Parts of this building remain like an open campus. Anyone can walk in. The majority of the floor, footprint of the building is like locked, secured because it's like a childcare facility. Then they toured the main building, which was really, really cool. It's like, it was reconstructed in the 80s. It was like full of art and design features intended to reference the Ho-Chunk, Black, Latino, and Hmong populations in that neighborhood. Tina Ahedo talked about reasons for expanding the building southward, for a bigger cafeteria, space for an associate's in nursing, which can't currently be taught there, as well as an expanded university transfer program. And I learned that early college programs, including STEM Academy, make up 20% of the full-time equivalent students at Goodman South. Or excuse me, they make up 50% of the full-time equivalents at Goodman South. They make up 20% of the full-time equivalents at all Madison College. That's like, yeah, that's surprising. That concludes my report, I think all of my time.
Okay, thank you very much. Very good report. It's been a good tour. We're going to hold for any questions, comments, concerns to Vice President Quinn Matson and teams or email. He will respond to you. And now we will go to Finance Council Senator Larson, who is excused unless anybody has a report from Finance Council. See none here, none. Now moving to Information Technology Council, Senator McRae, you have the floor.
We did not meet this week. I do not have a report at this time.
Thank you, Senator McRae. We
Thank
will
you.
We will move to Students Affairs Council, Vice President Ari Nichols.
Yeah, so, Student Affairs meets tomorrow, in which I will be bringing up a change from branch campuses back to regional, as has been requested. As well as I will be going more in depth with them about what we've been doing, food survey wise. I guess to tell all of you what will be said. What I will present to them is sort of just a brief overview of why we're doing it, what the call for it was, and, how we plan to keep moving forward with this in the future. The Better Mind survey, I believe that was who was issuing it, has now concluded. So those results are now being combed through, and there will be another meeting very soon, I think. No, I shouldn't say very soon. There will be another meeting, either December or a bit after, about that Better Mind survey and sort of how we're going to move with that. And then come the spring semester, we will be moving forward with getting, the people, the foundation here, so that they can take a tour and help us improve our facilities. And I think that's everything. I don't think I have anything else.
Thank you very much for being part of that and keeping us informed. Does anybody have any questions, comments, concerns, Vice President Ari Nichols? Any person on or online? Senator Crowder, you are recognized.
Thank you. I was just wondering if they gave an idea of how many people completed that survey, that's all. Or if you can find out when you have your next meeting.
I will definitely be able to ask. I do not know off the top of my head. There's probably a number buried in a SharePoint somewhere that I could find. I will look for that tomorrow.
There's no rush, curiosity mainly to see if they got it right.
Once the next meeting happens, they'll definitely give that number. I'll see if it's archived somewhere beforehand so we can figure out how effective they were at pushing it out.
Thank you, Senator Crowder, and thank you very much, Vice President Ari Nichols. At this point of our meeting, we will now move into unfinished business, general senator election process. And with that, I'm going to turn it to Advisor Cole.
Yeah, so at this time, this is just continued from last week. It was tabled. At this time, we do not have the folks present and available for completing this process tonight. And it is evident that in our upcoming meeting that we will have additional folks looking to move through this process. So at this time, that nobody is present, you will have the ability to move forward and complete this unfinished business for the night, knowing that we will be restarting the process in the future.
So at this point, are you open to second discussion?
You can, but since being that there is none of this happening, we basically can move forward. You can move forward and seeing that there is nobody present, we basically complete this unfinished business that's been tabled from last week and move forward.
Vice President
Yeah.
Sturgill, did you have a comment for Advisor Cole?
So we can't continue business because the candidates are not present, correct?
So
we would have to table, right?
no. So
Okay.
tabling just means you would like to prolong it. You're allowed to work through any business whatsoever
Okay.
until it's been completed to the extent it can be during that meeting. So tabling just means we're looking to continue this, like carry this over into the next meeting is unfinished from our process. So technically speaking, can this be completed? Well, it is technically open to the folks who qualified and completed said application. As right now, that person is not here. So you have the ability, if you would like to motion to table. However, it can also be recognized that being that somebody is not present for that, we can just complete this because it was a carryover of that and then move forward. Because again, this process will restart again come December 4th as we will have individuals who do qualify to run for that at this time. In which there is a parliamentary procedure process that would invoke us to combine any likewise business items into one if they are that closely related.
Vice President Arundel, got a comment for Advisor Cole?
No, it was not going to be a comment. I was gonna say, I will motion to, end the current business.
Okay, so motion to end our current unfinished business.
Yes.
Okay, I'll take that motion, but first, did you have a comment that you wanted for Advisor Cole? Okay, with that, then I'll take the motion to end the current business. Do I see a second? Second from Vice President Rogers. I'd open up for discussion in person or online.
Nothing.
I'll keep it open for about 20 more seconds for discussion. With this, I will take a vote of a raise of hands. And the motion will be to end this. At first, we'll start with all that are in favor of ending this. Raise your hand.
For those of you online, if you could use the raise hand function to let us know, that would be appreciated. Yep, you have 4 online, and then however many you have here, 5 online, sorry. So 5 plus whatever you have here.
We got 4 here.
Okay.
Fine. All right, now I will ask all those opposed to raise your hand.
Those folks online, if you want to lower your hands, appreciate it. So we restart. Appreciate it. Thank you. So again, if you are opposed to the motion of ending the unfinished business, raise your hand now.
Okay. And now I'll move to those that want to abstain. One abstention in person. Any online? Okay. And with that, the ayes have it. Motion is passed. We are now moving on to new business, resolution number 002, Food Diversity Initiative.
Oh, this, okay. Yeah, this is the one that was sent to you. So if they're ours, are you okay with making those changes?
We're really good.
Yeah.
If they're okay with you doing that, this is the one that was just sent in the email. So I just
Yeah,
looked at that.
exactly. It's the same one.
Okay.
Can you go down to section 3, just out of curiosity, I want to make sure we got subpoint A. Yeah, we did. Okay, sounds great.
I don't know if we're going to. Yeah.
Yeah, no, not a problem. I'll help keep track of stuff with you.
All right, this is the Food Diversity Initiative that you've all probably heard so much about. We've got the author and co-author up here. Ashley is sadly not here today, so she will not be up here with us. You can read the full motion there. Student Senate supports the introduction of more diverse food offerings across all campus cafeterias to accommodate diverse student needs. Workon's going to read that first section, and there's some citations we're going to skip over. I'll read the third section, and then I believe we're going into Q&A after that.
Yeah, we'll get the process then. Yep,
Yeah.
so go ahead.
I will start with section 1, primary reasoning. Whereas Madison College serves a diverse student body with a variety of dietary needs, including individuals eating halal, kosher, vegan, or other diets that may be limited in protein option based on current food offerings. Second one, whereas the lack of diverse food options and limited student food storage facilities on campus have led many students to seek meals off campus. Number 3, whereas this resolution is an expansion of the 63rd Senate's implementing halal food dining options passed on February 27, 2025 to now request that many food options be available. Number 4, whereas peer institutions such as Southwest Technical College, which offers gluten-free options, and Fox Valley Technical College, which includes vegetarian menus, demonstrating that offering more diverse food will bring the college to the same standard of catering to all students' needs as these institutions. Number 5, whereas providing diverse food options align with Madison College's equality and inclusion plan, as it states that a core value of the college is the commitment to student and diverse communities and making higher education available to all. which means offering food available to many groups. And number 6, whereas 4% of Wisconsinites have unique dietary restrictions due to religious belief, and 5% of the U.S. population does so due to being vegetarian or vegan. And the number 7, whereas according to enrollment data, there are 27,275 students, not counting the 12,484 online students, and assuming 9% have different dietary needs, approximately 1,333 students would likely benefit from expanded food options.
Skipping down, you can see section 2, that's MLA citations. You can read through those if you want. That's just citing what we have in those first 7 whereas clauses. Moving down to 3, thank you, Cole. First one, Senate recommends dining services contract the vendors identified by Student Senate President Jose Villarreal and Student Liaison to the District Board Hassan Hashimi, which include Cisco, UW Provisions, and Restaurant Depot, to find a local vendor whose options include, but are not limited to, halal, kosher, vegan, or gluten-free foods. Second, the Student Senate supports diverse food options being clearly marked and available on cafeteria menu screens, the Madison College Dining website, and other forward-facing materials. Subsection A, Senate believes it would be beneficial for a sticker system with the certification symbols to be created so students don't have to read nutrition labels to know whether food is halal, kosher, vegan, etc. 3, Student Senate encourages dining services to launch multiple pilot options like the halal food dish by the fall 2026 semester and collect data on the student interest, satisfaction, and purchasing patterns. 4, Student Senate encourages that data be collected on student interest in varying types of food offerings such as vegetarian or vegan. 5, Student Senate supports Madison College's dining offering at least one diverse main course food dish and additional varied food options such as grab-and-go items like cold wraps available on a regular basis. 6, be it enacted that dining services provide training to relevant personnel on what constitutes new food types, halal, kosher, vegan, gluten-free, etc., and how to handle them to prevent contamination. 7, Senate encourages dining services to investigate options for the proper storage of newly diverse food items and provide an estimate of associated costs and facility needs, after which Senate may draft a capital project proposal for an FPIC project to accommodate expansions. 8, Senate believes it might be beneficial for dining services to reach out to Linda Lee in the IE to see how she coordinates events requiring different menu items being catered. 9, be it encouraged that Senate and dining services have a continuing partnership and follow up on the progress with the initiative to meet students' dietary needs. 10, Student Senate should meet with the dining services to discuss the feasibility of having a small grill or equivalent method, such as the panini press, dedicated to preparing halal foods separately from pork or other non-halal items. 11, Madison College should provide a communal student refrigerator in campus locations, such as the atrium, for students to store personal foods to be maintained by the janitors with posted notice that Madison College is not responsible for theft or loss of items. Final item, the Student Senate will welcome dining services to report to a General Assembly meeting at the start of each scholastic year to discuss progress towards resolution objectives, and the Senate will review this resolution yearly until the objectives are met. And then the conclusion is the same as the formal motion there, be it enacted that the Student Senate of Madison College assembled supports the introduction of more diverse food offerings across all campus cafeterias to accommodate diverse student needs.
Awesome. That's good stuff. Now I will open that up for discussion.
Get a motion to bring it to the floor.
I will entertain the motion to bring it to the floor. Motion made by Senator Sarbanes, seconded by Vice President Quinn Mattson. I open up for discussion to bring it to the floor.
Just everybody else is taking this off the screen.
In person or online? Seeing none, hearing none, motion is passed. It is brought to the floor for this. Senator Crowder, did you want to have a comment about the motion bringing it to the floor? Okay, all right. All right. And with that, the motion has brought to the floor. Now we can go ahead and discuss the resolution.
Yes, that's correct.
So now we open up this part of the process for question and answer. Will you take questions from the public also?
Yeah, if you lend your voice.
So if the public wants to ask any questions, one of the senators or one of the vice presidents here will lend our voice for you. And we are more than willing to accommodate any questions you have.
Okay. You have someone online?
And first and foremost, we'll go to Senator Crowder. You have the floor.
So mine is pretty short, and I just shared the information or my thoughts recently with VP Ash and company. Is that, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Oh, okay, sorry. Is that, maybe we should do some consideration since we're trying to do an all-inclusive, food initiative, to have it be food diversity and, think about being health conscious too, because that's another area that affects the number of students at Madison College. That's all. Thank you.
Most definitely. I saw the comments you sent in that group chat on Teams with me and the other authors and co-authors, and I'm really excited to look through that. I was helping table today, so I couldn't do it today. But yeah, I'll definitely be taking a look at that along with the other authors, and we'll hopefully do some amending, and then I'll give it back to Ezek, and then we can move that forward for next week. But yeah, definitely planning to work those in.
Vice President Quinn Matson.
What were the edits that Annette suggested in email? Are those okay to discuss here?
I personally have not gone over them. I don't know
Okay.
if FERCon's gone over them, but we will, I believe we're gonna have to reread this if we make any changes next week or 2 weeks from now, so.
If you make any significant changes, yes, we would have to reread this in. That's
Okay.
correct.
So if it is changed in a way, you'll hear about that.
I guess technically one thing you could do is, you could move after discussion here is kind of closed up, you can table this till next week. And so this would be reintroduced under unfinished business, in which you could then bring forward like a bill to showcase the reading of what were the significant changes made. That is correct. So you can do that.
Sounds great.
Cool.
And if you have any questions about what was changed, you can always reach out to us and we'll be forthcoming with that, of course.
Okay. Vice President Quinn Matson, you're recognized again.
Thank you. I'd like to lend my voice to
Hi,
guests.
I wanted to ask how preparation would look comparatively between chicken that isn't halal and chicken that is halal, what that would look like.
That's one of the big questions. That's something we're gonna have to work really closely with dining services on, because right now they do not have the facilities for that. So that's why there's talk in there about potentially going to FPIC to get more money so they can buy a second panini press. There's also concerns about ventilation and things like that. So that's something that we're gonna have to have continuing conversations about, which is why we've already started scheduling those meetings, but that'll be one of the big things we're working on.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Vice President.
It came to my attention that the first point under section 3 commitments says that Senate recommends dining services will find a local vendor whose options include but are limited to halal, kosher, vegan, and I think it should be but not limited to.
Yes, that's a clerical error. They'll be fixed in the one we see next week. Thank you.
Anybody online?
And looks like there's no discussion going on.
No
So
more discussion.
now that it's on the floor.
It's on the floor.
Yes.
So with it being on the floor, as it stands now, and as it's written out, besides the Grand Cove error that is going to be accepted, to be changed, the one word of not limited to, we can now move to vote on this resolution.
So somebody else would have to make the motion.
Someone can make the motion to vote on it, or someone can make the motion to table it.
That is correct.
So who wants to make a motion to table it, who wants to make a motion to vote on it?
Hold on one second.
We're changing it, right?
Yeah, we're gonna change it.
So by making this motion, you would be closing discussion. So if you make the motion to table, this would enter into unfinished business for 2 weeks from now, in which when we bring it back up, we basically bring it forward and we would start with whatever information needs to be covered, i.e. at this point, because we're in discussion, we would go back to discussion, most likely what the changes are. However, if somebody motions to vote, then ultimately ends discussion, yes.
Okay.
So I had it open for discussion,
Yeah,
and there was no raising of the hands. Wait a little bit, still raising the hands. So now, if there is still more discussion, I would
We still have
check
it.
the time, and we do have time, so I honor any more discussions. I think you had your hand raised first,
Yeah.
Vice President Corey Sertzel.
Yeah, so-
Vice President
so
Arnett.
I want to, clarify. Annette Crowder had submitted some editing choices, so you guys are going to preferably look over them first and then bring them? Is that something that's more preferable?
The plan was never to vote on it at this meeting. This is just a reading of it. We are very hopeful that this will be voted on 2 weeks from now.
Okay, sounds good.
So that would be, that means the ultimate goal here would be that if we wanted to do that, be to table it.
Vice President Ari Nichols?
I just want to make comment and that if you disagree with me, let me know, because I'm just quickly looking over your edits. It seems that they're all for like clarity. Do you agree with that? That it's more or less just like clarifying language so it can't be misconstrued or confused in the future?
Yes, it's clarifying language, and then I just wanted to try and make it a little bit more inclusive when it comes to like, we have students with gluten allergies, lactose allergies and things like that. And I felt like I didn't want to hear slack from people going, oh, we did it for everything else related to food, but what about us with all the allergies? So I was just trying to make it a little bit more inclusive. Oh, that's a terrible way of saying it, but I hope that makes sense. And I can drop the document in the chat if other people want to look at it. I just sent it to the authors of the bill, because they were the authors. Of the resolution. I'm sorry, I'm so tired.
There yet, but we're trying to get this. Vice President Corey Sertel.
I'm going to motion to table.
Okay, Joel Kemp. With that motion would end discussion. So,
Point of inquiry,
point of inquiry, Vice President Ash.
when are you tabling it to?
2 weeks from now, so
December 4th.
The next meeting?
December 4th?
There you go.
December 4th.
Seconded by Senator Jagadish. I'd open up now for discussion, in person or online, for the tabling to the next General Assembly meeting of this resolution. Yeah, okay, all right. Yeah. One voice here on the Senate, all right. Okay, with that, hearing none, seeing none, I'm going to take a vote unanimous consent. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, motion is passed. It has been tabled until the next General Assembly meeting. Thank you two for your fine work and appreciate you very much. And now we will move into non-business housekeeping. With that being said, do we have any housekeeping or non-business to take care of? Now, Vice Cole, Vice President. Right, hearing none, seeing none, 612, folks. All right, you're getting good. We will now move to our announcements. Our next meeting will be held on December 4th, which is 2 weeks from now, 2025, in room C2455 at 4:30 p.m. You can join virtually or you join in person, and I will try to get us some food. Now that we have held our announcements, I entertain a motion for adjournment. Motion made by Senator Jagadish, seconded by Vice President Barry Rogers. Vice President Rogers. Now I'll open up for discussion, in person or online. Hearing none, seeing none, we'll take a vote unanimous consent in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Motion passed. Thank you fine folks for coming in and helping us.